Captain Nico Koivu in the Minnesota Wild getting set to battle the Edmonton Oilers again, the fourth meeting already this young season.
You see a lot of this team, granted, but to have such a short span of time, it means there's going to be some, well, maybe a little bit of nastiness, a little bit more physical play. That's actually good. Helps create the rivalry.
Minnesota Wild come in with 14 wins on the season. That's tied for the most in the National Hockey League. They'd love to go home and end the month of November with 15 wins already on the season. Koivu wins the draw. Lundin will chase it back into the Minnesota zone. Wild in white, the Oilers in blue. Koivu chasing. Heatley just taps it through. Koivu down the wing. Clutterbuck going to the goal. Wrist shot goes through in front of the starting goaltender, Nikolai Khabibulin. All the way back to the other end. Played around to Schultz. Schultz along the boards. To Koivu off the wall and bouncing all the way down. Heatley a foot chase here, and Gilbert will get back first, and Tom Gilbert will touch up. There's an icing call against the Minnesota Wild. Let's take a look at our Northman Ford starting goalie.
Khabibulin has been exceptional this season, especially against the Wild. He's made a lot of saves. Save percentage against the Wild at almost 96% this season. Nicholas Backstrom, who has kind of been deemed an Oiler killer at times, certainly would love to come in here.
No item.
Here and against the Wild at almost 96% this season. Nicholas Backstrom, who has kind of been deemed at almost 96% this season. Nicholas Backstrom, save percentage against the Wild at almost 96% this season. Nicholas Backstrom, who has kind of been deemed an Oiler killer at times, certainly would love to come in here and take a couple away from the Edmonton Oilers.
Back out to the point. That shot got through. A glove save.
And look where Backstrom is. Backstrom on that save was all the way out at the top of the paint, and that's where he needs to be all night long. And Sutton, who's back for the first time in a little bit, gets a good shot there. Watch his shot come through traffic. But Backstrom had already established where he was going to be, and that's what he's going to have to do all evening long, because as we talked about in the open, the Oilers will crash the net. Ryan Smith is out there right now, so we're going to see how much pressure he puts on the top of that crease.
Another face-off win for the...
Gets a good... That's where he needs... We're back.
Back out to the point. That shot got through. A glove
from the Edmonton Oilers.
Back out to the point. That shot got through. A glove save.
And look where Backstrom is. Backstrom on that save.
Fourth goal in the playoffs. 1-0 Edmonton.
Was all the way out to the top of the paint, and that's where he needs to be all night long. And Sutton was back for the first time in a little bit, gets a good shot there. Watch his shot come through traffic, but Backstrom had already established where he was going to be, and that's what he's going to have to do all evening long, because as we talked about in the open, the Oilers will crash the net. Ryan Smith is out there right now, so we're going to see how much pressure he puts on the top of that crease.
Another face-off win for the Wild, pushed ahead too far by Nick Johnson. Then Nugent Hopkins got in early. So a whistle down for an offside call at the Minnesota blue line.
Talk about the Backstrom dominant
for an offside call at the Minnesota blue line.
Talk about the Backstrom domination of the Edmonton Oilers. He just loves this building. Told Wes Walz that he likes the sight lines in here, and whatever the reason, whether it's the way the Oilers play, whether it's the fact that Backstrom likes his building, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is he does have some very good numbers against the Oilers, especially in this building.
Backstrom played it towards Scandella, collision along the wall. Cullen fighting a roller, got it ahead to Shantaguchi across the line. Through Peckham. Here's Spurgeon stepping up into the offense. Lays one back behind in the corner. Bouchard can't get control. Everly along the wing. Leaves it there. Poke checked away. And it came out across the line. And it caught Pierre-Marc Bouchard in offside. Across the line. Bouchard can't get control. Everly along the wing. Leaves it there. Poke checked away. And it came out across the line. And it caught Pierre-Marc Bouchard in offside.
Pierre-Marc Bouchard has been so solid as of late. He's always a good choice if you're playing any kind of light the lamp game against the Oilers, because he also gets some points against these Oilers. A good choice if you're playing any kind of like the lamp game against the Oilers because he also gets some points against these Oilers. Likes the style of play, likes the open ice. Just saw a shot there of Tom Rennie, the head coach of the Oilers. I think he's done a fantastic job with this young hockey team.
It's quite a challenge, even though there's a lot of talent here. It's very young talent, and he has done an outstanding job. There's a quick shot out of the scrum in front, and quickly Javi Bulin covers up. Darryl Powell was there. Nick Johnson was right in the fray. Powell might have gotten chopped up front a little bit.
Well, Pierre-Marc Bouchard, as we continue to chat about him, has been very good against the Oilers. Look at that. In numbers against Edmonton, and he's in pretty good company there.
This is some good hockey players.
Yeah.
Payarvi will dab in front, and quickly Javi Bulin covers up. Darryl Powell was there. Nick Johnson was right in the fray. Powell might have gotten chopped up front in the lineup,
so he's down 1-4. He has one forward sitting in the box, and Ben Eager for another 10 minutes. So he's having to dress
very good against the Oilers. Look at that.
Back-to-back nights, and that's something the Flames will have to try, or should try to really get in hard and really run as far as physical play in the offensive zone. That's something that they started out doing in numbers against in the box of Ben Eager for another 10 minutes. He's having to dress 7 defensemen on back-to-back nights.
To Nick Johnson on the go.
No surprise there that most of those guys were divisional opponents because they have the benefit of playing against them a lot.
Zanin to Stoner and deep into the Edmonton zone. Edmonton 7-3-1 at home. The Wild come in 5-3-2 on the road so far this season. Across the ice.
Here they go, and we felt that was going to happen, and it happens the first time these guys get out there together, and they just want to take care of business early.
We'll get it done so we can finish the game. Oh, boy, they're throwing them.
Well, you know what? There was a build-up to this because of what happened a couple games ago, and so now these guys are going to take care of this so they can play some hockey.
Yeah, let them go for a while till they're good and tired.
Yeah, that's how it works. Going to answer the bell, and two mustachioed men going after it, and good bout there. Good bout there by both of those gentlemen. And you could tell that was going to transpire at the minute that Hordichuk and Stabitz circled around, and here's how it started. They got together and they just started throwing some bombs, each of them landing a couple. And so now it's all done. Penalties. The last time these two teams met in Minnesota, well, actually, if you're counting the penalties, I think the Oilers got the benefit. Hordichuk certainly, because Stabitz, and you can see Hordichuk going down at times and drawing penalties, and Stabitz got 8 minutes in penalties, 2 double minors. And so obviously the Wild talked a lot about discipline and when they pick your spots. That spot right there was a good time to pick.
Brad Stabitz admitted, he said it was selfish, I should have let it go, and you know, you knew he was gonna, if he was gonna go tonight, they were both gonna go, and they did. They each get 5 for fighting. So we're even up, and there's one thing off the bucket list taken care of for tonight. Brodziak climbing over the boards, dashing in on the backhand is Hemsky. He draws a penalty, and as the Wild touch the puck, play is stopped in the Minnesota zone.
Bit of a hold, and I think it's Lundin who's going off, I believe, as he was trying to keep track a little bit of Hemsky. Got a lot of speed, and watch as they move the puck right up in stride, and I don't know. It's the grab right on the hip, but he really didn't get a lot of them. Got enough of them apparently. You take the hand off the stick, and that's
the Wild touch the puck. Play is stopped in the Minnesota zone.
Bit of a hold, and I think it's Lundin who's going off.
Take a look at this. Is a one-sided argument for the last couple of seasons, Charlie.
It really has. The 12 of the last 13 meetings, and they only lost really in the last 2 years. Obviously, it's a 4-0 victory in Edmonton last year to start off the season, and last 8 games here, 1 at the Dome, but. You know, the Oilers are starting to push a little bit more and more, so it's good to see that the Battle of Alberta is getting tougher and tougher.
In those 6 games last year, the Calgary Flames outshot the Oilers rather badly.
NHL October 18th.
Has 12 of the last 13 meetings, and they only lost really in the last 2 years. Obviously, it was that 4-0 victory in Edmonton.
Great on the hip, but he really didn't get a lot of
last 8 games here, one at the Dome, but
not enough of them.
the Oilers are starting to push a little bit.
You take the hand
more,
off the stick, and that's usually what the referees look for. As he
go and quickly Javi Bulin covers up. Johnson's right in the frame. Alwyn got chopped up front a little bit.
Well, Pierre-Marc Bouchard, did a chat about him. Has been very good against the Oilers. Look at that.
This game, the Oilers.
His numbers against.
We will give you the full results later in the telecast. One of you has a chance to win a plane ticket to an upcoming.
Good hockey players.
Yeah.
Calgary coming off the road trip.
Hey, Harvey will dash to
starting
center.
their longest
Floats one in
homestand of the
wide.
season,
Stoner.
6 in a row.
Pretty good.
3 against Northwest Division opponents. It starts against Edmonton.
It's the
Backstrom. No read.
a lot of work there.
Bounces towards the hit Gagne. Now Spurgeon. Spurgeon flips one up, bounces towards the corner. Jones is in there battling, but the loose puck is picked up again by Jared Spurgeon, and he finishes it off and clears it all the way back down. Javi Bulin tees it up at the other end. In across the line is Gagne. They'll work it back to the right point. Gagne goes to the corner. Jones is battling in front. Gagne trying to get it to Jones. Intercepted by Greg Zanin. Turning and clearing off of Belanger was Brodziak. Brodziak used to be an Oiler. Belanger used to be a Wild Wings center. Loose puck. Howe couldn't come away with it. Back to the point. Belanger rotates it right. Controlled. Stopped in the skates of Brodziak, and it was kept in. Now continued and cleared the rest of the way down.
I'm surprised Whitney tried to force that pass across, and Brodziak clearly took that lane away, and he should have gone back down low with it.
Penalty time has expired. The power play is done. The combatants, Staubitz is still in the box. Here's Eberle. That's a blocked shot by Jared Spurgeon. Eberle gets it back again. Dumps it in front. Quick shot. Another nice save. Speed with the rebound and a stop by Backstrom. He seems to be seeing the puck very well early in this game. Nugent Hopkins sends it down low. Centered out front for Eberle. He did knock it down and control it, but couldn't get a shot off. Now the puck is cleared ahead just across the blue line. Still controlled. Now back to Schmid. They'll work it ahead. Head on the right side. Gilbert.
Early momentum by Edmonton generated from that power play. Even though it didn't get a lot of shots, they moved the puck in the offensive zone and got a feel for it.
Schultz going back. Horkoff chasing him. Drops it off for Mike Lundin. He'll bank it ahead out of the corner. Cleared to center. Reaching for it is Danny Heatley. Across the line. Heatley in the slot. A one-time shot goes wide off the glass.
Why not give it to Clutterbuck? He's put a lot of pucks in the net lately.
Koivu battling along the boards. Clutterbuck comes in. Koivu sends it across to the far side. Big Andy Sutton picks it up. Sutton played for the Wild for parts of the 2000 and 2001 seasons. Came over here from Anaheim in a trade for Curtis Foster. Might be one of the larger trades in the NHL. Sutton comes in at 6'6", 245 pounds. Gillies across through the skates of Setaguchi, who's backpedaling now and heading to the bench for a change on the fly. Poke to the line, sitting on the blue line, scooped up, and here comes Colton Gillies. A healthy scratch Monday against Tampa Bay. He's back in the lineup for the Wild. No score, 7 minutes in. The Oilers.
Scoreless game here at Edmonton after an action-packed 7 minutes at Rexall Place. I'm Robbie Mikowski. Good news for a lot of the Minnesota Wild prospects in their minor league system, as invites have gone out for the World Junior Championship, and a lot of Wild prospects are on that list, including Brett Boehmer, who played 9 games for the Wild earlier this season. Zach Phillips could represent Canada. Jason Zucker, who's already played twice representing the United States. Charlie Coyle came in the Brent Burns trade. Jonas Brodin, of course, the Wild top pick this year. And Larson, Gustafsson, and a name, Michael Granlund, that might sound familiar. He was a first-round pick a couple seasons ago. Dan and Mike, and the interesting thing is the tournament takes place here in Edmonton as well as in Calgary, and it starts the day after Christmas. So some interesting stuff going on with the guys in the farm system for the Minnesota Wild. Let's hope a lot of them get that big-time exposure.
I know the Wild make a western swing here through Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton during right before that time. So it's going to be a lot of buzz in the hockey world up here for sure during that time. A lot of fun.
Puck finds its way through the neutral zone, back into the Edmonton zone. Bouchard coming in. Sutton has it, does a little spin move. Eberle leads it out to center. It'll be picked off by Spurgeon. Didn't get much of that puck, but did clear it ahead. Now dump back ahead. Here comes Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Cullen trailing, gives it to Cullen. Cullen stops, tried a little drag move, came free. Now to the point, Stoner tried to fire that one towards either Bouchard or Cullen. I'm not sure which one, but it missed the mark. Now Cullen turns, looks, fires, and a save by Javi Bulin. Eberle trying to get away from Setaguchi along the boards. He does, carries into the Minnesota zone and sends it bouncing back behind Nick Backstrom. Stoner plays it off on the left side. Zanin to the line. They're offside at the Oiler blue line and a stoppage of play.
Well, this line has been terrific. We talk about the energy that they bring, but they forecheck so well that they really take whatever line they're playing against out of the game. Forecheck so well that they really take whatever line they're playing against out of the game. Brodziak, Howe, and Johnson. Howe and Johnson.
Belanger controls that draw, pulls it back on defense to Whitney. Through center, Payarvi, the speedy Swede, fires one on, stick save. Backstrom dives out to center. Payarvi, the speedy Swede, fires one on, stick save. Fires! Dives out to cut off as it slipped away from him. Just a...
Jordan Eberle makes it 2-0.
Little bit. Backstrom dives out to cover up as it slipped away from him just a little bit.
That's one thing you're going to likely see a lot of by the Oilers, or at least that's what Tom Rennie has asked them to do, is get pucks to the net. That one not a very dangerous shot, but they're just looking for bodies and pucks to the net to create chances. And you saw the last couple of Wild chances. They didn't really shoot the puck at the net. They kind of shot it towards some of their board checkers to see if they would deflect it. Goaltenders are so good these days that you don't have, it's a shot off legs or a deflection by someone off to the side of the net.
Lundin to Schultz to the stick of Brodziak into the crowd for a souvenir. Another face-off coming up.
Really tight conference race. First place and 11th place are separated by 5 points only.
A souvenir. Another face-off coming up.
Really tight conference race. First place and 11th place are separated by 5 points.
Into the crowd for a souvenir. Another face-off coming up.
Really tight conference race. And that's why that response by the Bay in a very good game. Their net 5 was so good. They lost 2 games, 5-2 in Calgary and Edmonton. And then they came back out and beat like a stone. It's amazing how close some teams are. And we showed you the divisional standings off the top of the show. And Vancouver's right on the heels of the Wild. And Edmonton is right on the heels of Vancouver. So things transpire quickly here.
Schmid makes his way to the center red line, lofts one in. Nick Schultz ahead off the board. Schmid has Clutterbuck tied up. Hemsky will keep it in, off a deflection, will go bouncing back into the corner. Lundin has it there, pops one up high in the air. It'll come down out of the neutral zone. It's kicked ahead into the zone. Clutterbuck will chase. Schmid has it. Schmid picks the right direction. He goes right. Clutterbuck went left. Here's Horkoff leading along through the center. Hemsky played it off his skate, fires a soft wrist shot in on goal, and that's handled easily there by Nicholas Backstrom.
Well, Mike Lundin in his second game now with the Wild, and second game of the season already, as last game was his first, and it was against his old team, and he did a good job, blocked some shots. He used his body, moved the puck out of the zone, and look at this. If you can make passes like that, you're going to find yourself in the game playing 19, 20 minutes or more like he did the other night. He set up Brodziak for a breakaway that clanged off the 20 minutes or more like he did the other night. He set up Brodziak for a breakaway that clanged off the pipe. But or like he did the other night, he set up Brodziak for a break. Playing 19, 20 minutes or more like he did the other night. He set up Brodziak for a breakaway that clanged off the pipe. But just to have that vision, that North mentality that Mike Gill wants to find from his defenseman, and it's great to see him. And you know, both he and Zanin playing, well, Zanin for the first time in a long time, but Lundin for the first time ever in a Wild sweater.
Each block 5.
Look at this. Already.
Wrist shot. In on goal, and that's handled easily there by Nicholas Backstrom.
Mike Lundin in his second game now with the Wild. Second game of the season already, as last game was his first in the Wild, and second game of the season already. Lundin in his second game now with the Wild, and second game of the season already, as last game was his first, and it was against his old team, and he did a good job, blocked some shots. He used his body, moved the puck out of the zone, and look at this. If you can make passes like that, you're going to find yourself in the game.
Pushing and shoving.
Game 2 regarding in the first game.
Vikings. Then it's for space. Slides it. Fox NFL face-off. They have done very well in the face-off circle here in the first period, but it's controlled in the offensive zone. Hemsky looking for space. Slides it back down low. Eberle has it there. Eberle lost it, but goes right back, picks it up. Now big Andy Sutton out of the corner. Fires across. An easy tap-in goal for Nugent Hopkins. The first period, but it's controlled in the offensive zone. Hemsky looking for space. Slides it back down low. Fox NFL face-off. They have done very well in the face-off circle here in the first period, but it's controlled in the offensive zone. Hemsky looking for space. Slides it back down low. Eberle has it there. Eberle lost it, but goes right back, picks it up. Now big Andy Sutton out of the corner. Fires it to the offensive zone. Hemsky looking for space. Slides it back down low. Eberle has it there. Eberle lost it, but goes right back, picks it up. Now big Andy Sutton out of the corner. Fires it. Season out of Lundin. Lundin sends it right.
First period to outlet pass. Vehemently denied.
He'll still go to the box. They get the assists on the goal. It's 1-0. Brodziak comes in. He's going to get called for a penalty, and Kyle Brodziak, the former Oiler, will dispute it, but he'll still go to the box. We'll be back.
You're watching Fox Sports North.
Well, Brodziak, watch him reach in with the stick here. Reach across the waist, and yeah, that's a penalty. And Kyle Brodziak was vehemently denying that he did anything wrong. But that's about as legitimate of a tripping penalty as I think I've seen. So a little bit of frustration there, maybe.
Second power play of the game already for the Oilers. They come in fourth best power play in the National Hockey League. Gilbert has it on top. He'll saucer one across to the right side. Quickly down low in the corner. Guess who's in front? Yep, Ryan Smith, covered up by Backstrom. And Lundin was trying to cut off Smith.
Anyway, he was not taking any ice set to a lot of this team. Did a good job of
for a lot of Minnesota.
The last 12.
Are moving in with to assist.
Puck got
on the 25th of this month, just a few games ago. And he's been good against the Wild. 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points in the 3 games, the first 3 games of this 6-game series. Gilbert slides in down low to the right side. Sends it back on top, switches spots there with Nugent Hopkins. Powell watching down low, shoved in front. Cullen is there, quickly turns and dispatches that puck the length of the ice. Same thing. Ryan Smith was right on the back door, standing in the crease behind Backstrom. Belanger to center. Lost it for a moment, got it back. Big hit along the boards, and the puck is cleared back out to center ice. That was Clayton Stoner delivering.
Yeah, and you know what? When you watch your pass and you watch it when Clayton Stoner's around, he's going to take you out.
Belanger got a touch. Jones comes in to help out. Now Eric Belanger dumps it into the referee, and it comes loose to McIntyre. McIntyre and Gillies. McIntyre moving in with a shot, and the defenseman blocked it. That was, I believe, Whitney at the last second got a stick on it.
That was a good defensive play because Whitney had a one-on-the-goaltender chance there, and it just did not materialize.
20 seconds to go in the penalty time to Brodziak. Wild already have 4 shorthanded goals this season. And away from the play, there's a whistle, and it's stopped.
Play even for
No.
Teams each score away. Forward to Koivu off of back. Horkoff has it down low, pushes it away to the right side. And here comes Brodziak out of the penalty box as the puck reaches neutral. He'll jump in on the play. Heatley drops it back on the right side. Here's Koivu. Brodziak goes to the front of the goal. Koivu back to the point. Spurgeon stops, rotates it across. Here's Bouchard. Heatley in the slot. It goes through. Koivu to Heatley. Tipped it just wide.
Boy, he was looking for more on that. He didn't get enough of a deflection to change the direction in his favor because Javi Bulin had trouble picking that one up.
Here's Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Gains center. Across the line. Excuse me, it's Spurgeon, not Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Bouchard's at the left point. Spurgeon goes back to the right point. Heatley has the puck.
Heatley's getting booed, by the way, because he chose not to come here when offered a trade to here from Ottawa.
They don't forget easy.
No, they felt hurt by that. Now they're letting them know.
Bouchard with a shot. It didn't get through. Might have hit Heatley on the foot. Koivu. Spurgeon hopped his stick.
He was looking to pass it or shoot it before he received it. He picked his head up and it just kind of went under his stick.
Now Bouchard to Koivu with a nice skill move at the line. Here's Scandella. Tipped in front, and Javi Bulin got a piece of it. They've tried that play twice. That time it was very close.
Very effective as it squeaked through the pads and just went out the other side. But that's the kind of steam you need to have on that shot for it to be effective. We've seen that shot before where Heatley doesn't get a lot of deflection on it because the shot's not hard enough. That time it certainly was.
Cullen to Setaguchi. In traffic. Leaves it with Lundin. He'll rotate it. Scandella drives one, and that went off and up and out of play. Petrell got in front of that one and sent it into the crowd.
If a guy's going to get in front of your shot, you got to make him pay. And Scandella gets a bit of a back scratcher going here. Watch as he winds up. This was a play right before it, though. The deflection that we talked about. Look at the wind up and then the deflection. What a great play there. That's what the Wild need to make that play work. But then Scandella winds up on the other side and makes Petrell pay.
Five seconds left in the power play. The Wild will control. Here's Lundin looking inside. Gives it back on top to Schultz. Rotates it across. Setaguchi battling there. Belanger knocked it away, but Cullen picked it up. A short side jam. The Wild converge on the goal, but it's cleared all the way down.
I like that effort towards the net. It gives goaltenders fits.
And the penalty had just expired, so this will be icing.
When you power your way to the net, the goaltender has to concentrate on the puck while also trying to determine how much success you are going to have coming across that crease.
Cullen on the draw for Minnesota against Eric Belanger. Scandella steps up. Nick Johnson took the hit. Puck slid through. In comes Cullen, trying to stir things up. Setaguchi can't get it. Whitney leads it around. Held in by Jared Spurgeon. Spurgeon being contested there for the puck very well, as a matter of fact, by Ryan Smith. And he'll go to the bench. Here come the Oilers back in. Gagne twisting and turning across the line. Center attempt by Hemsky knocked away. Gets it back. He fans on it. And Cullen picks up the loose puck. Tries to clear, but he hits Horkoff in the foot. Now across on the right side to Jared Spurgeon. Leads one ahead to center. Reaching out and just touching it was Cullen to get it deep in the zone and avoid an icing. Turnover. Here's Gillies moving in with a drive right on, and Javi Bulin stops Colton Gillies on a great chance for the Wild. Still down by 1.
2-1.
Well, the Wild need to establish their forecheck, and here's a good example of what it can do. Right there, you force them to put the puck up the middle, and that's Colton Gillies trying to respond like Mike Yeo wants to see him, and he gets a rolling puck and a good shot, but Javi Bulin has been good to the tune of a 96 save percentage against the Wild this season, and you see why. He's way out there, cut down the angle, and made a good save on a rolling puck, which is not easy to do. You can't read a rolling shot like that as easily if the puck was laying flat. Colton Gillies got most of that one.
He's still looking for his first goal of the season.
Become another Mike Yeo buzzword, response. How are you going to respond? Not only individually, but as a team.
Cleared to center. Jones trying to get around Stoner. Stoner played him physically while he tried to find the puck, then was able to find the puck in his skates. Sandin with a nice reverse against Belanger. Now to Stoner. Stoner will tap one ahead. A headman pass through the neutral zone to Powell. Brodziak tried to lead it back in for Darryl Powell. Payarvi sends it around behind. Here comes Powell with a hit. Now Powell on the wall, poked free just for a moment, and now Payarvi has it. Behind the play, Powell was laid out on the ice. Payarvi with a wrister, the rebound, and another save. And Backstrom is run over, but may have had a player pushed into him, and the Wild will clear the puck back through the neutral zone.
Oh, I think that was Jones that got in there. Interference is going to be called, but is it going to be on the Wild or is it going to be on Edmonton? Because it could be easily called either way. And Jones is the one who's going to get probably goaltender interference. Watch as they come in here and drive bodies at the net. And yeah, he didn't do a lot to get out of the way there.
He just kind of spun around and spun right into him, didn't he?
Here's the shot. Yeah, he didn't do a lot to get out of the way there.
He just kind of spun around and spun right into him, didn't he?
Here's the shot. He almost scored on this rebound, but yeah, he spun around and passed right into Nicholas Backstrom, and that's why he had his own second period.
Just 4 minutes to go.
Like to get it going. 0 for 2 against Tampa Bay the other night on the power play.
Coming into this game, the Wild were 1 for 12 against Edmonton this season in the man advantage.
Tampa Bay the other night on the power play.
Coming into this game, the Wild were 1 for 12 against Edmonton.
Would like to get it going. 0 for 2 against Tampa Bay the other night on the power play.
Coming into this game, the Wild were 1 for 12 against Edmonton this season in the man advantage department.
Ryan Smith dumps it back behind. Gilbert, Koivu will send it out to the point. Spurgeon is waiting there. And Ryan Smith dumps it back behind. Gilbert, Koivu will send it out to the point. Spurgeon is waiting there. Spurgeon right at the blue line. Tried to flip it ahead to Mikko Koivu, but a very good play defensively in front of him by Sean Horcoff. Now Spurgeon knocks it back behind. Wild will see if they can get something going. Trailing by a goal here.
By a goal, 2-1.
Bouchard.
Game 5.
Across to Koivu. Koivu dances his way in. Clutterbuck with a shot and a blocker save made by Javi Bulin. Spurgeon right back on top. Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Heatley. Bouchard. Heatley with a shot. Save made and no rebound. Clutterbuck was standing in front. Penalty coming up, I believe, against the Oilers.
By over makes a save.
Keep the puck in. No. Poked free. Horcoff has it stripped away. Nice defensive play by the man who was back on the play. And that was Jared Spurgeon. And the Wild with a 5-on-3 here for another minute. Heatley uses his large frame to shield the puck on that one. Sent down low in the corner, and they'll set it up from there. Out on top. Spurgeon crosses with Bouchard. Mikko Koivu tried to jam one in front, went off the skate in front of Gilbert, and it's cleared all the way down. Backstrom will shorten the ice and play it ahead to the blue line. Little drop pass to Pierre-Marc Bouchard. He'll stop out at the left point. Setaguchi moving across. Now he'll cross. Sends it across down low for Devin Setaguchi. He misplayed it off the back wall. Now Spurgeon to Setaguchi. Back to Spurgeon to Bouchard with a shot. It was partially blocked. Koivu to Setaguchi. Back on top. Broken stick by one of the Oilers. So they're down to 2 men and a stick. In front, a one-timer by Spurgeon goes wide. Comes bounding out front. and it'll be knocked down on the left wing side with room and space. Here's Bouchard moving in. Pierre-Marc tried to lay one out in front, and the Oilers get one man back. Here's Jones one-on-one, and it's poke checked away very nicely. Another very good defensive play by the Wild in this power play. You don't want to have to make a lot of great defensive play when you're on the power play, but they've done that. 20 seconds to go in the second penalty. That's on Schmid. Drop pass for Cullen, right through the logo at center ice. Brodziak back to the point. Scandella waits, fires, and someone got a piece of that one right in front, either Brodziak or Khabibulin. Cullen sends it behind Brodziak. Penalty time has expired. Good penalty kill by the Oilers. And it'll get by the wing, and that's Scandella going back to get it, I believe. Yes, it is. And Marco will send it up through the neutral zone. Now back to Clutterbuck. Clutterbuck tried to cut in front. Might have taken a knee. No arms up. Clutterbuck is hurt. We'll have to look at that one again. Centered in front at the other end. Here comes Brodziak the other way. Clutterbuck hobbling, trying to get to the bench. Here comes Gillies in. Knocks the puck down, chasing after it with Powell. Gillies tried to wrap it around. That was knocked away. McIntyre can't intercept, and it's flipped high in the air, and Schultz is back to get it for the Wild across. Now to Greg Zanin. Bangs that one along the boards all the way down to Khabibulin at the other end. Big hit along the wall. McIntyre gets up quickly. Play whistle down. Period comes to an end.
Clutterbuck not in a good position right there, and it goes knee on knee, and he did stick the knee out, and that should be more than just a minor penalty, as he did catch Clutterbuck right on the knee, and hopefully he can skate that off and recover somewhat in that first intermission.
He chats with Kyle Brodziak heading off the ice. We'll be back. Face-off and more coming up in our first intermission from Edmonton. The Wild down by 1. Minnesota Wild playoffs. Fox Sports North is brought to you by McDonald's. Right now you can get 20 crispy chicken McNuggets for just $4.99 at McDonald's. By Luther Nissan Kia, where the bottom line is trust. And by Clam Outdoors. For all your ice fishing needs, visit the great outdoors at clamoutdoors.com. Menards. Now, before we start our second period, our Menards game reset. Nugent Hopkins has the game's only goal so far. Former Wild defenseman Andrew Sutton set him up, and Wild 4-game winning streak here in Edmonton. We'll have to do something that they've done many times. Allowing the first goal has not been unusual for the Wild this season.
Yeah, they've been able to fight back because they persevere through the whole game, but they got to take advantage of opportunities that have been given them, and good to see Clutterbuck out there as well, because that was we keep looking at that replay, and that was a knee on knee, and I'm sure that's what he's talking to the referee about, because Whitney stuck the knee out. I mean, if you inadvertently or through incidental contact bump into each other and go knee to knee, that's one thing, but Whitney's knee came out to contact Clutterbuck coming into the zone there. That should have been called for sure.
Wow, here we go. Koivu and Horkoff on the draw. And Koivu wins the draw again. Wild did very good on the face-offs in that first period.
Game 5.
Controlled by the Edmonton Oilers, back in their own zone, looking for some room is Gagne. Finds some space, gets it off to Horkoff. Here's a rebound, and getting across was Backstrom just in time as Sam Gagne came flying in the backside. Bounced in by Koivu. Line.
Everyone thinks that
Heatley will hit him. Heatley goes to the ice. Loose puck behind the Edmonton Oiler goal. Almost picked off by Koivu off his skate. Gagne settles back in. Flips one ahead across the line. It's offside at the Minnesota Edmonton Oiler goal. Almost picked off by Koivu off his skate. Gagne settles back in. Flips one ahead across the line. It's offside at the Minnesota.
first period. Let's look at that knee-on-knee, and we'll see if everyone thinks that right there as the left knee comes out.
That goal.
Should have been
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Should have been sure. Resulted in an injury. Good to see Clutterbuck back. He's drawing a lot of attention in this game, and it's not just because of this game. Likely from games that these teams have played enough of this year. 3 coming into this one. So Clutterbuck's physical play is preceding him, and he threw a one-liner in this game.
91 hits for Cal coming into the game, putting him second in the National Hockey League. Also leads the National Hockey League in short-handed goals. Become a very valuable part of the penalty kill on this team. Peckham goes back just in the corner there by Senaguchi. Cullen trying to poke it free, but it ends up along the boards to Eberle, who leaves it out for Smith. Back for Eberle. Eberle leads it in. Ryan Smith down low. Trying to work his way against Zanin. Gets some help down low, and Zanin will come up with the loose puck. Zanin off the boards, moves it out to center ice on the right wing side. Carried in by Senaguchi. Drops it back for Cullen. And now Senaguchi on the back wall. Peckham rubs him up on the back wall. Comes loose. Senaguchi tried to center, and it went off the skate of Andy Sutton and out the other side. Dump back into the Minnesota zone. This is Scandella. Tried to curl along the boards. Bouncing puck knocked away there. Spurgeon working. That wrist shot goes over the top and wide. Payarvi sends it behind. Belanger has it. He tried to center. Off a skate. Here come the Wild back the other way. Making his way to center ice and sending it in is Nick Johnson. Johnson goes in shoulder to shoulder with Petrie. Petrie sends it along the boards. Jones is waiting. He banks it ahead. Payarvi with speed. Here's Magnus Payarvi on the backhand. Cuts inside. Fires a shot, and Belanger was jumping in front. Centering attempt by Jones. He gets it back. Oh, and sent it across. Now Petrie steps up or keeps it in the zone just barely.
Yeah, they're looking for that backdoor play again. This time it was Belanger standing back there.
Here's a chance on the right side. Brodziak with a drive, and then Nick Johnson driving in with Petrie. The two of them almost knocked it in. Hordichuk the other way. Hordichuk got a backhander off. Save made by Backstrom. Rebound cleared by Schultz. McIntyre. Now Staubitz leads it ahead for McIntyre. He goes in shoulder first on Peckham. There's a couple of strong players. Now McIntyre behind. Had it poke checked away. Sutton comes in.
Nice
Oh,
hit.
and Colton Gillies just took big Andy Sutton right down on the back wall. And then Staubitz gets dumped behind the play.
Oh, McIntyre went shoulder to shoulder with Hordichuk. Hordichuk not liking it at all.
This game all of a sudden has gotten very physical. And it's been clean so far.
See how long that lasts.
A
because
lot.
Players don't, clean or not, players don't like to get hit.
A lot of shoulder-to-shoulder contact. Koivu will clear that one out of harm's way. Heatley looks up ice. Danny Heatley to center. Pokes it ahead deep in the zone. In the corner, Whitney sends it up along the wall to Sean Horkoff. Horkoff had it poked away by Clutterbuck. Clutterbuck couldn't quite reach it. Knocked down with a high stick by Horkoff, and that'll stop play here. And what a rush of play we had here for the last couple of minutes.
A lot of physical play, and I'll tell you, Colton Gillies, you talk about response. Boom! My goodness, Andy Sutton is not exactly a small man, and Colton Gillies just takes him right through. And yeah, Sutton was looking to see who did that. Took the number down. Colton Gillies second on the team, and a lot of people don't realize that in the hitting department. He is a very physical player, great on the forecheck. Mike Gill wants to see him continue to play that game. Healthy scratch last game, but he comes right back and had a great scoring chance in the first. Just unloads and blows up Sutton here in the second. Who knows what else Colton Gillies has in store for this game.
He is responding.
Yes. That is the definition of the word.
Cullen lost it, but dragged it back to his stick with his skate. Senaguchi to Bouchard. Bouchard worked over by Sutton, but Bouchard wins the battle. A backhander goes just wide. That is a great battle for a much smaller man in Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Giving away about 10 inches to him, and they're offside at the Minnesota line. That'll stop that Oiler rush. 15:42 to go here in the second.
The second 3-1 Oilers lead. Game 5 here in this
Well,
first
good
round
job
series.
here by Bouchard. He just uses his leverage against a big man and his speed as well. Just didn't get it on net. He wrapped it a little bit too tight. But the Wild looked like they're responding a lot better here in the second period.
Petrie will send it rink wide at center. Both these teams were in action on Monday as Payarvi's shot doesn't get through.
2 more times.
Payarvi reacted as though he got a stick up high, and I think that's going to be the call. And the Wild are going to go short-handed.
Well, Zanin gets his stick up a little bit. I think it was his hand. It wasn't even his stick, but you could call a rough or you could call the high stick. It doesn't matter. It's still going to cost the Wild a couple minutes.
Greg Zanin missed 16 games with that groin injury. Came back, blocked 5 shots against Tampa Bay on Monday night. That was the last Wild game, that 3-1 win over Tampa Monday. And for the Oilers, they lost 2-1 here at home against Nashville on Monday night. Third power play of the game for the Oilers. Eberle sends it to the corner. Schultz got a piece of it, lost where it went. Eberle comes around, scoops it up, gets it back out to the point. Horkoff will leave it for Eberle. Now back to Horkoff. Across, Nugent Hopkins. He's got the only goal of the game so far. Centers it in front. A backdoor backhand. He scores! A power. Centers it in front. A backdoor backhand. He scores! Eberle now back to Horkoff. Across, Nugent Hopkins. He's got the only goal of the game so far. Centers it in front. Backdoor backhand.
Third goal of the playoff. Makes it 4-1 Oilers.
That's Eberle's second point of the game. He had an assist on the first goal in the first period.
Point of the playoffs.
And what a beautiful backhander this was.
Beauty.
They find an opening on the other side of the net, and that's the second backdoor goal that the Wild have allowed in this game, albeit this one was a power play marker. Nugent Hopkins with his second point of the game as well.
Coming into this game, Eberle, 11 points in his last 8 games. He's kind of the unforgotten guy. You hear Nugent Hopkins, you hear about Taylor Hall. Eberle's the other third young superstar that they have on this team, and he's having a great run. So power play goal for the Oilers makes it 2-0 early here in the second period. Second power play goal this season for Jordan Eberle. Nugent Hopkins gets an assist, and Horkoff gets the other one on the goal. Horkoff back the other way again, slows it down across the Minnesota line. Still checking in his Hemsky. His shot went low and just went wide of that far post. Peckham stolen away, but Peckham swats it right back, and the Oilers gain control. Edmonton to center. It's Gagne sending it into the Minnesota zone. Knocked down by Nicholas Backstrom. Colton Gillies waiting on the wall. He's bumped there from behind by Hordichuk. Stoner sends it around behind. Along the boards, here's Staubitz. Staubitz got it ahead. Gillies tossed it away at center ice. Picked up by Andy Sutton. Sutton looking to get around the forecheck of McIntyre. Sends it across all the way to through neutral ice. It's backhanded in by Hordichuk. Backstrom along the boards. Stoner turned it over. Quick shot right on in front. And a big save by Backstrom on a quick turnover right in front of the Minnesota goal. Bobby Bullen played that one away from Colton Gillies. Petrie. Staubitz picks it off. Staubitz to Cullen. Drops it back for Schultz. He'll keep it in. Fires towards the goal. And that didn't miss much. Here's Lundin keeping it alive in the zone. On the back wall, Gillies is there. Gillies around, had it stripped away. Cullen is right there as well for Minnesota. comes free and up the right wing side. It's pushed ahead by Petrie. Schultz will take over at the Minnesota blue line. Pass ahead, just missing the mark on Pierre-Marc Bouchard. The hitting continues. Hasn't let up. Here's Cullen. Cullen looking across. Sanaguchi with a shot around. And another nice save by Javi Buller.
Did a good job of controlling that puck. Sanaguchi had that in his skate, and he basically got his body around and got a very hard shot.
Gilbert sends that one around through the corner, out to Emery at center. Brodziak with a very nice back check to strip that puck away. Ahead to Nick Johnson, who's whipped into the boards by Smead. Gilbert back, off the back wall behind the boards. Pinching in is Brodziak. He successfully knocked the puck free. Bouncing around behind, now Gilbert will go in. Nick Johnson with the hit on Gilbert. Flipped ahead at center ice. Here come the Oilers back. Everly moving in. Everly with a shot. He's on goal. And it's stopped there by Backstrom. And he will hang on. Wild trying to get one on the board. Devin Setaguchi with the latest chance.
Jordan Everly puts the Oilers up 2-0 with a power play goal as we reach the midway stages of this hockey game. And here's our Sanford Health injury report for tonight. And it comes out of Philadelphia, and it's defenseman Chris Prunger, former Edmonton Oiler, underwent left knee surgery yesterday. Expected to miss about a month. It's the 5th time he's had surgery. That's a concern. In the past 16 months, Dan and Mike, he's got a long-term contract with the Philadelphia Flyers, and this injury history isn't boding too well for the Flyers. They hope to make another run at an Eastern Conference title.
Yeah, he had that eye injury earlier this year, so he's had a few instances where he's been out, and they certainly will miss his presence. The Wild are going to miss the presence of Cal Clutterbuck, who's now in the Wild locker room, so I'm not sure if he's going to be back in this game, but I think the concern is that knee-on-knee hit, a deliberate knee-on-knee hit by Whitney, continues to cause Clutterbuck some trouble.
Hopefully he'll be back, but until then, they have to make do without a guy that's been a big part of this team, not only on the physical aspect of the game, but on the power play, on the penalty kill. And was skating on that first line with Koivu and Heatley.
And replacement up there right now is Nick Johnson, who's found himself up on that spot before and done fairly well.
Stoner coming back to sweep that puck away. Sends it up along the boards up high. It's flipped ahead out through the neutral zone. Chasing it is Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Now ahead it's tipped by Payarvi back to the Minnesota line. And this will be icing as Clayton Stoner back to touch the puck. The Minnesota Wild are introducing a new 5-game ticket plan called the High Five Fan Pack. You have a weekend plan, a weeknight plan, or a combo plan. Buy 2 and you'll save nearly $150. Go to wild.com/high5, or you can call 651-222-WILD or text 5 to 83281 for a chance to win a couple of packs. As expected, it has been a very physical, chippy game between the Wild and the Oilers.
Well, with Clutterbuck out and the Wild trailing by a couple here, Mike Yeo is doing some line juggling, moving some guys around.
Turnover, loose puck in front. Brodziak had it chipped away. McIntyre got a piece of it. Petrie got it ahead to Payarvi, and they'll clear the zone. But here came the Minnesota Wild on that aggressive forecheck. Bouncing puck. Scandella got it ahead. McIntyre plays it ahead off the board.
The open gate on Powell.
Here's a chance from a sharp angle that's knocked away.
Darryl Powell was the unfortunate benefactor of an open gate on the Oiler bench. My goodness. Hopefully he's okay. He's shaken up right now on the bench.
He's doubled over. We saw Clutterbuck doubled over at the end of the period. Nick Johnson lost that one behind the Edmonton goal, and the Oilers clear it out to center. Lundin ahead. Bouchard with a very skilled play between his legs to control the puck. Jones couldn't reach it. Schultz controls. Right back to Nick Schultz. He'll lead it across on the right wing side. It just bounced off the blade of the stick of Matt Cullen. They tie up at the half wall in the Edmonton zone. Cleared ahead to Jordan Everly. And Everly will make his way to the Minnesota line. A little dump and chase for Jordan Everly. Lundin cuts it off. Schultz picks it up. Schultz will lead it ahead. A bouncing puck is banked ahead to Matt Cullen. Cullen got caught from behind. It was poke checked away. Dumped right back into the Minnesota zone. Backstrom, Lundin, Hemsky picked it off. Lundin got a piece of it. It ends up behind the Minnesota goal. A spin move by Ryan Smith didn't work. They'll work it back out to the point. Whitney sends it to the corner. Eberle shot it wide. Gilbert steps up, sends it back behind the Minnesota goal. Centering attempt comes back to the point. Horkoff with a drive, and the save is made. And it's hung on to by Backstrom. A stop in the action, 2-0. The Oilers ahead.
Well, Clutterbuck is in the locker room, and Darryl Powell, watch this. The gate opens on the Oiler bench, and oh boy, just takes it right in the turnbuckle and gets helped into the bench. Darryl Powell is back and skating around. At least he was during that TV timeout. So that's a good sign, but that's always dangerous, boy.
Wild trying to get something past Nikolai Habibulin here. As Gilbert fans on one. Heatley picks it up. Heatley will feather one to the right side. Picked up by Mikko Koivu. Koivu, a little inside-out move in front, looking for Heatley. He scores! It might have gone off. Heatley picks it up. Heatley will feather one to the right side. Picked up by Mikko Koivu. Koivu, a little inside-out move in front, looking for one to the right side. In here as Gilbert fans on one. Heatley picks it up. Heatley will feather one to the right side. Picked up by Mikko Koivu. Koivu, a little inside-out move in front, looking feather one to the right. Habibulin here as Gilbert fans on one. Heatley picks it up. Heatley will feather one to the right side. Picked up by Mikko Koivu. Koivu, a little inside-out move in front, looking for Heatley. The right side. Picked up by Mikko Koivu. Koivu, a little inside-out move in front, looking for Heatley.
Because
last one on the far
center this puck towards the great
goal, and it's devolved into with between these two teams. So Setaguchi back with Koivu and Heatley with the injury. Here's Powell with a chance in front, turning, and that shot ends up and getting enough of that one was Backstrom to knock it away. Jones got payback with a hit on the far side. Puck cleared but not out. Now gloved by Stoner. Stoner ahead to Brodziak. Chops it around Petrie. Broke his stick on the play. Got the puck deep into the Edmonton zone. Whitney has it there. Whitney with the pressure coming. Lost the puck. Centered in front. Gillies tried the one-timer. Knocked down by Jared Spurgeon. Spurgeon shoots and a save by Habibulin. Wild maybe a little energized after finally getting one by Habibulin to make it 2-1. Wild keep it alive in the zone. Habibulin's been giving them some nice rebounds. Here comes Cullen, driving in. Drop pass, feathered across the line. Here's Pierre-Marc Bouchard moving in. Bouchard settles in at the half wall. Slot, Heatley, turns, shot, save. Another nice rebound. This time Scandella comes up and knocks it away. Wild keep it alive in the zone. Habibulin's been giving them some nice rebounds. Here comes Cullen, driving in. He hit the crossbar. Oh, what a skilled move by Matt Cullen. Cullen gives it to Bouchard. Pierre-Marc Bouchard back to the point. Marco Scandella dishes it off on the right side to Brodziak. His shot was blocked. It's loose in front. They battle away. They score! By Matt Cullen. Cullen gives it to Bouchard. Pierre-Marc Bouchard back to the point. Marco Scandella dishes it off on the right side to Brodziak. Cullen gives it to Bouchard. Pierre-Marc Bouchard back to the point. Marco gives it to Bouchard. Pierre-Marc Bouchard back to the bars and for the shin guard. And if you just
the arm of Brodziak, you just.
Well, the Wild even things up here in Edmonton. They'll be shorthanded when we return. If you're just joining us, here's our Grand Casino story of the game.
Second period here, the Oilers made it 2-0 on a backdoor power play goal. But look at Brodziak tying the game after a Setaguchi goal, and then Brodziak drives the net and gets the benefit of a good bounce off of him and great effort towards the net. Unfortunately, the next shift, the Wild get a high stick here. Watch, Johnson gets in there and he catches Payarvi with the twig. Goes off for 2 minutes.
Fourth power play of this game for the Oilers. They're 1 for 3 so far. Only a couple of shots on the power play. So the Wild have done a decent job of killing, but this is a pretty good team. They've got a lot of guys that like to play on the power play. Ryan Smith is one of them. He lost the puck. The Wild may have numbers here shorthanded, but they will slow it down and dump it deep in the zone.
Keep in mind, the Oilers are without Taylor Hall in this game, and he is a huge part of their offense, but they have so much good young players, so many of them, that they keep coming at you.
He'll be out 2 to 4 weeks with that shoulder injury. They were worried at first that it could be much more severe, so they're happy it's just 2 to 4. Gilbert leaves it back behind. He has been very durable in his career. He's just good for 80 to 82 games, it seems like, every season. Lundin trying to tie things up in the corner, gets a little bit of help. Now it's rimmed around to the near side. Coming back to get it is Eberle. He'll keep it in along the boards. Nugent Hopkins has the puck. He was the first selection at XL Energy Center in this summer's draft, and he is not disappointed. Backdoor, a shot, save made. Backstrom came out, challenged, and made the save.
And Colton Gillies took a stick, I believe, up high and looking for a call, not finding one. Great job by Backstrom, not falling for that one again. That's how Eberle scored earlier in this period.
Hemsky lost the puck as he crossed into the Minnesota zone. Bobby Boulin back at the other end. Tom Rennie, coach of the Oilers this morning, said you win the specialty teams, you probably win the game. It's starting to look like that type of a game. He was exactly right.
We're on to the second round.
Whitney is rolling around. He settles it down, gets it to lay flat, dumped in front. Nice save in front by Stoner. That might have been dangerous if he doesn't get a piece of that one. Whitney to the corner. Sharp angle shot is partially fanned on. Nick Johnson is back on the ice, so the Wild have killed off another penalty. Centered in front, that's broken up. Back to the point. The Wild will poke it free. Stepping in front of it is Nick Johnson. Johnson moving in, cuts to the middle. Can he get a shot? If he does, but it goes wide in front. It looked like Ryan Whitney may have gotten a piece of that one.
Yeah, Nick Johnson looked like he wanted to single-handedly make up for that 2-minute minor on that line rush.
Well, there's coming out of the box, and then there's really coming out, and he was on the move. Here's a nice lead pass to Cullen. His shot didn't get through the defense. Heatley comes into the corner, poked free to Cullen. Cullen sets it up on the right side, a quick shot. That might have hit Heatley out front. Cullen got knocked down just inside the blue line, and it's cleared ahead to Payarby, who dumps it back into the Minnesota zone. Scandella ran into Jones, I believe, with a big shoulder. And Scandella goes to the ice. Loose puck picked up. It was swatted away from Danny Heatley, who then spins back and goes to the bench. Maybe that was not Jones. That was O'Mara, who hasn't seen a lot of ice time in this game, but he comes in. Big, strong center iceman. Sutton rotates it across. Out to center. Hemsky flips it around the defense from center ice into the Minnesota zone. Spurgeon takes the hit, clears the puck along the boards all the way back down. This will be icing against the Wild. 1:35 remaining here in the second period. Look at all your high school hockey action with Fox Sports North Prep Zone, presented by... Flips it around the defense from center ice into the Minnesota zone. Spurgeon takes the hit, clears the puck along the boards all the way back down. This will be icing against the Wild. 1:35 remaining here in the second period. Look at all your high school hockey action with Fox Sports North Prep Zone, presented by Wells Fargo. Go to foxsportsnorth.com, click on the Prep Zone link, and watch up to 4 high school hockey games all at one time tomorrow at 7. Featured games include Benel St. Margaret's and Hill.
We haven't mentioned the Wild. Bobby Boulin has been the reason why it puts both teams at 4 points each in the season series. So even though the record is 2-1 and 0 for the Wild, it's not any regulation losses.
Bouchard waiting for things to develop. Leads one ahead. Gillies will chase. Gillies reaches back. He got his shot off, but Bobby Boulin able to make the save, and Colton Gillies continues to play spirited hockey. 4-1. Good forecheck by the Wild. That was Heatley and now Koivu, and it's turned over. Setaguchi tried to lay one out into the top of the circle to Mikko Koivu. Horkoff picked it off. There have been moments of brilliant forechecking in this game by the Minnesota Wild. Here's a shot saved, no rebound. Backstrom just got
And game as well.
from behind. Road time. Oilers win the draw with a minute to go in the period. All the way around behind. Ryan Smith couldn't get there because he was practically behind Nicholas Backstrom in the Minnesota goal. Out through center. Eberle rotates it back on defense. Up the middle, loose puck. Heatley got a piece of it, but it's picked off and dumped back into the Minnesota zone. Backstrom poked it away at the last second from Eberle. Here's Nugent Hopkins looking towards the goal. Fires in front. Backdoor shot missed by Eberle.
An open net it appeared as well.
Puck picked off up in the slot. Led ahead, it bounces and skitters its way past Danny Heatley. Whitney is back to get it. Heatley missed on a check behind the play on him. Picked off out at center. Waiting now is Brodziak. Turns, fires, huge rebound off of Hobby Bullen, but nobody there in a white sweater. Nugent Hopkins leads it in on the left side. Now to Eberle. It got by Ryan Smith. Smith is hammered by Brodziak and knocked off the puck. And that's where the puck will be to end our second period of play. A nice rally once again by the Minnesota Wild.
Wild did a great job in this period. They came out a lot harder. They were very physical, as were the Oilers, and they answered back and won that period.
Coming up in our intermission, Kyle Brodziak will join Robbie Inch-Makowski in just a moment in a high school hockey preview. All coming up next. Starts a long stretch away from home. The Wild will play 20 of their next 29 on the road, and it starts out well at home against New Jersey, then at Anaheim, on the way to San Jose, LA, Phoenix, and it keeps going till about February.
Yeah. But that means there's going to be a payback at some point, and
February.
Yeah. But that means there's going to be a payback at some point, and it's in March and April when you want to be playing in front of your home fans with a race to the playoffs.
This team has a winning record away from XL Energy Center, 5-3-2 coming into this one, and would like to add a 6th road win here tonight if they can, and add 11th win in the month of November, which would be a franchise best. But they're in a battle here with this very scrappy young Oiler team. 2-2 after 2. 4-1 after 2. It's Heatley along the boards right in front of the Edmonton Oiler bench, and finally Setaguchi just flings it across the rink. Cullen gets there before Gilbert, showing some good speed from Matt Cullen. Now along to Smead. Smead will lead it ahead, almost picked off by Nick Johnson on that forecheck. Ryan Smith ahead along the boards to Hemsky. Stoner takes up the chase.
After 40
clears it off the boards and all the way down, and this will be icing. We'll go back in the other end. We had a text question. This one comes from Greg from Calgary. He wants to know, well, maybe who Nugent Hopkins might remind us of.
You're going to hear a lot of comparisons. As a young player, and you're going to hear words like, or names like Joe Nieuwendyk and others that have that kind of speed in the hands and the hockey sense and all that. But I think it's a little too early to pigeonhole him into any kind of type of player. He's still developing, still learning the game in the National Hockey League. He's without question going to be a very talented one. He has 2 points in this game and has 11 goals on the season.
Last time these two teams played, he had 2 goals. He had a power play goal and an empty net goal, so he's already found a nice liking for playing against the Minnesota Wild. Wild will get flagged for another icing here.
Here's the rankings in the rookie department, and goals, assist points, yeah. It's topping the charts on all of them.
Not a bad way to get things started on your pro hockey career. 27 points now. Not a bad way to get things started on your pro hockey career. 27 points now. Zanin goes into the corner. Belanger chasing. Stoner is there. Stoner will send it down.
There's a third icing in a row by the Wild. Just trying to exit the zone. And of course, they cannot change lines or bodies when they ice it. So that's why you see the same players out there, because normally a coach would have attempted to change bodies to try and move things around a little bit. Some different blood out there. winning the draw is the important thing.
Belanger is kicked out. Jones will take the draw. We're early here in the third period in Edmonton. Cullen wins the draw. Sandin clears it up high. This one will go down, but this one will be not far enough for icing, so the Wild will get a chance to change all 5 skaters on the ice. When tied after 2 periods, the Wild are 4-0 this season. They've been excellent. Here's Payardi. Fires one. Big rebound, but it's cleared but not out. Back to the right point. Petrie shot off the skate. Goes perfectly to Whitney, and Whitney inadvertently tosses it out across the line. Here's Brodziak. He and McIntyre get kind of tangled up, but Brodziak got it deep in the zone. Finishing my thought on the other side of things, the Oilers have struggled when tied after 2. They are 0-2-1 this season, when even going into the third period. This is Sean Horcoff. Had a goal against Minnesota and an assist a couple games ago. Sharp angle shot hit the side of the net. Backhander gets through traffic, picked up by Captain Mikko Koivu, and he'll backhand it into the Edmonton zone. Gilbert is back first. Koivu will come in with Schmid battling. Koivu goes down in the corner. Schmid continues to battle for the puck. Now it's tapped along the boards. Gagne can't get it. Lundin turns on his backhand. Tried to get it deep in the corner, but it's picked off. Here come the Oilers back. Off the boards, it's dumped in deep by Gagne. Lundin flips one ahead into the skates there of Setaguchi. Saw the hit coming from Schmid. Schmid carries in, hands it off along the boards to Gagne. Horcoff is waiting, but Gagne keeps it.
Oilers aren't afraid to pinch their D. We've seen it all game long.
Hemsky to the point. Horcoff, save, rebound, Gilbert. Gilbert has been in the offensive zone, down low in the offensive zone most of this shift. Now Schmid back at the left point. Horcoff was playing defense. Shot by Horcoff is deflected. He didn't get much on it after the deflection. It goes to the corner. Gagne has it. Gagne gives it up. Now it's Schmid.
Well, they're a little tired here, doing a lot of standing.
Gilbert tried to put one through for a deflection in front. It didn't make it, and the puck comes out. And the Wild to get a chance to at least change some here. A much-needed change on the fly as Edmonton comes out here in the third period at home and tries to take over this game. Scandella to center to Cullen. Nice pass off the boards to himself. Cullen slams on the brakes, drops it back, pushed down low. Spinning is Johnson. Hit the back of the goal. Cullen turns and gets a shot off. That was steered away by Javi Bulin. Nick Johnson doing yeoman-like work, trying to get that puck and dumps it back behind. Bouchard had it knocked off his stick by Sutton. Those two have battled a couple of times, and Bouchard has held his own. Here's Nick Johnson trying to drive in front. It's loose in front. They battle away, and it slides free. And a penalty coming up behind the play, I believe, against the Oilers.
Well, when you drive the net like that, you make the defenseman have to make choices, and sometimes the choice is to grab onto you because you use the goaltender and the net itself as a way to shield off any defensive pressure. And a good job there. Watch as Johnson cuts back against the grain. And a great job here, just using his body and gets... And I think it was that right there, the rough at the end.
That was
on Cullen. On Peckham. Watch this. He'll give him a shot in the head, just out of your frame there. But good job by the Wild forcing the issue around the top of that crease.
Looked like Cullen came up, was doing a little talking to Theo Peckham. How about Matt Cullen? Gopher football team finished 3-9 in Jerry Kill's first season. How did it grade out? Tyler Mason's season-ending report card tells us the full story at foxsportsnorth.com. Matt Cullen, Mike, had 12 goals all of last season. He's got 8 already. And so in the preseason, when he told us, he said, no, I'm determined I'm going to have a better season. He was right on.
He had a crossbar in the second period, too, and one that was very, very close to adding another one on his season. Doing a great job. Definitely likes this system. Definitely likes what Mike Gill's preaching.
Koivu talking things over as the Wild get set to go on the power play for a 5th time. They do have one power play goal here tonight. 4-1. Good job to keep that bouncing puck in, but as it's tossed across the blue line, Spurgeon could not keep it in. Jones had position. They go to the back wall. Bouchard has it kicked free to him. Pierre Mark moving up along the wall, dumps it to the center of the ice. It's adjusted there for Mikko Koivu. That was Setaguchi who just kind of laid it down. Now driven in by Jared Spurgeon from center ice. Setaguchi behind for Koivu. Tried to get it back to Setaguchi, but they closed in on him too fast. Great job to keep it in by Bouchard. Spurgeon with a drive, and the save by Javi Bulin, and no rebound.
That was a great keep by Bouchard. That puck was about 2 feet in the air, and he knocked it down and kept it in for the Wild shot on goal and a face-off in the offensive zone. Otherwise, they're chasing it all the way down. Look at this. Just a nice reach there, and a great hand-eye by Pierre Mark, who you would expect to have very good hand-eye.
Bouchard had the game winner on Monday night against the Tampa Bay Lightning on a beautiful one-timer set up by Nick Johnson. Spurgeon again, and this one, he shows a little puck, but Javi Bulin jumps on it.
Well, some bodies in front this time, and Wilder hoping one of those squirts to the side rather than just in front where Javi Bulin could cover it up. But Javi Bulin's been very good. Watch this front. Watch the body come across the front right here. That's Setaguchi in front. That's how you screen goaltenders. You let them see the puck, then you step in front of them when it's on its way. And after that, it's a bit of a guessing game, and you hope you have your angle. And Setaguchi did a good job. Had a goal in that second period and tried to create another there.
This is Jared Spurgeon, Edmonton native, would love to score against his hometown team. It's pushed deep into the corner. Under a minute to go now in the power play time, and this one will get along the boards. It got behind Heatley and past Spurgeon, all the way down to Nick Backstrom at the other end. Wild will make some partial changes here. Here comes Spurgeon. To center, drop pass, Bouchard. Here's Cullen with a quick wrister and a blocker save made by Javi Bulin. Cullen gets tripped up going for that loose puck. Picked up by Nick Johnson. Johnson back to the point and get through. Quickly across. Here's Bouchard chopping at it. It's pushed out to the glove with a glove out to the neutral ice. And the Wild will try to gain control on that rolling puck with 20 seconds to go in the power play. Brodziak walks in, fires the save, and the rebound was knocked away before the Wild could get to it, and it's cleared back down the ice again. Out comes Backstrom to play it. And the penalty time has expired on Theo Peckham, and the Oilers are back to even strength. 7 minutes into this third period. Tied at 2 here in Edmonton. A one-game road trip for the Minnesota Wild. Trying to move back up on, stay on top, I should say, in the Western Conference. Stevens leads it into the Oilers zone. And the Oilers will send one across the line. Here's Horcoff moving in, and a great poke check by Backstrom.
He recognized that Horcoff was coming in so fast that he would not be able to make an adjustment if he did that. And it's a bit of a gamble, but boy, he won that one. Great read.
Big save for Backstrom to keep this game tied at 2. And what a pass to Horcoff. He just barely stayed onside and took that puck full speed into the Minnesota zone. Zanin to Schultz. To Setaguchi. It's tangled up in his feet there right in front of the Minnesota bench, and Payarvi was right there as well. Carried in across the Minnesota line by Sutton. Had it in his skates for a minute. Koivu was relentless and finally came away with the puck. Schultz. Oiler fans. Swung at by Setaguchi. Deep in. Javi Bulin will play it away. Heatley's on the forecheck. Jones has to sidestep a hit by Heatley. Dumps it back behind his own goal. This is Gilbert from the left wing wall. It's flipped up high in the air by Sutton. Bounces one into the Minnesota end. Clayton Stoner has it there. Nugent Hopkins is chasing. Stoner off the boards. A touch there in the neutral zone. It ends up back into the Edmonton zone. Gilbert has it. Stops, changes direction behind. Now it's bounced off the boards to Ryan Smith. He'll lead the puck ahead. He got it out of the zone. Now it's tied up in a little scrum in front of the bench area for Edmonton. And Ryan Smith will carry. Lost the puck at the blue line. Poked ahead by Bouchard to Johnson. Nick Johnson's shot was blocked. Whitney got it. His return pass was knocked away by Johnson. Dumps it in the corner to Bouchard. Out on top to Scandella. Spurgeon with a shot. It's wide. A lot of traffic in front of Javi Bulin on that one. Great back check by Nick Johnson to send it down low in the corner. Trying to come out of the corner, but rocked off the puck with Bouchard. Loose puck control. Nugent Hopkins makes his way to center. Leads one ahead to the speedy Magnus Payarvi. Payarvi and Scandella on the back wall. Nicely played by Marco. Back to the point. A little bouncing puck. Peckham with a shot. It opened up and Backstrom saw the shot. Made the save and hung on. Nicholas Backstrom with a big save here in the third when we come back. Let's take a look at our CenturyLink high-speed play of the game.
Well, this just is a terrific save by Backstrom, but look at that play as Horcoff catches it in full speed. And I think it was because it was such high speed that Backstrom was able to execute a wonderful poke check. Backstrom has responded very well. Tough outing a couple games back. Responds well with a great game against Tampa, and now has played very well here against Edmonton.
Puck hit some bodies in front, and by the way that Lundin is getting up, I'm guessing it hit him. He hobbles his way to the Minnesota bench. Wild have been banged up a little bit. Cal Clutterbuck is no longer in the game. He took what looked to be a dirty hit from Whitney in the first period. Tried to come back in the second and could not. That's Gillies. Great battle for Colton Gillies along the wall. Jones rips one in off the glass behind the goal line in the Minnesota zone. Stoner sounded like it hit a shin pad. Rodziak couldn't reach back and get it. Payarvi driving in. Payarvi left it at the side of the goal, and Backstrom will just smother it there. Back right in the middle side of the goal, and Backstrom will just smother it there.
No item YouTube video player group.
Backstrom recognized the
Bouchard. Backstrom will just smother it there.
Didn't get the puck out of the zone, and so the pressure came right back at him. There's Lundin trying to shake off.
They're back.
With a shot that looks like it caught him on the top of the knee, and there's no padding there. Here's a shot that came in, and yeah, he was there. Here's the shot that looks like it caught him on the top of the knee, and there's no padding there. Here's a shot that came in, and yeah, he was too busy worrying about Payarvi, and he's just trying to walk that one off a little bit. You're right, the Wild banged up a bit in this game. Clutterbuck, of course, Darryl Powell got run into the open Edmonton Oilers game. Clutterbuck, of course, Darryl Powell got run into the open Edmonton Oilers bench. Right in the gate, and a couple of players have blocked shots, but they're still at it.
Tap back to Greg Zanin. Zanin tried to clear. Gagne knocked it down. A shot right on. A save by Backstrom. Good stop on a quick chance for Horcoff. Smead leaves one in the middle of the point area. Now Hemsky working on it. Zanin was marking him. He stopped at the blue line. Tried to push it back down low. Koivu battling for it. It pops up in the air. He and Hemsky go after it. And then Hemsky sends it rink wide off the wall. And Stoner will send the puck loose through the neutral zone. Look at your shots on goal. Has evened up and remains very close. Zanin steals that one and clears. They waved off the icing immediately.
Both Zanin and Stoner tried to get off the ice. They saw the play come back the other way, and both scampered to the blue line again and finally got to make their change.
Andy Sutton has it. Intercepted by Cullen. Tried to send it back in deep. Knocked away by Sutton. And cleared ahead to Ryan Smith, working on Scandella. Gets some help from Spurgeon. Loose puck to Cullen. And now Nick Johnson to center. Very nicely controlled out of the neutral zone by Pierre-Marc Bouchard. In comes Cullen on the forecheck. Now Eberle leaves it up along the wall. Picked up by Nick Johnson. Fires. In front is Cullen. He had to get out of the way because a big freight train was coming at him. That was Andy Sutton. Intercepted by Pierre-Marc Bouchard to Nick Johnson. Fires, and that goes off the stick of Theo Peckham of the Oilers and into the crowd and into the netting. That is out of play.
Well, Colton Gillies is in his response game, and he responded in many ways. Physical, in this game like he can be. A couple of good scoring chances. That one in the second on a blast. And watch him get in here on the forecheck and get an opportunity again on Javi Bulin that stops him. Even some blocked shots in this game. Out there at the point, making a difference. So Colton Gillies doing what Mike Yeo wanted him to do, and that is showing the confidence that Mike Yeo showed in him.
McIntyre tried to sweep that one around front on a quick turnover as Colton Gillies was involved in another very good forecheck. Mike Lundin, after blocking that shot and being in some discomfort, is good to see that he's back on the ice again. He'll take the pass from Schultz. He'll lead it ahead to center ice through the neutral zone. Gillies off the boards. It's gloved and knocked down and controlled by the Oilers. Now across to Whitney. 7.5 remaining. We're at that point in the game where you wonder who's going to step up and make the big play. Who will be the hero?
Boy. Rodeo's in town. Stoner got ripped by KRV there behind the net.
Both players up. No worse for the wear. Stoner's a big, strong kid. KRV just tried to leap over him and just didn't quite have enough vertical jump, I guess.
He's strong like Donkey Kong.
It's a tough leapfrog right there.
Sharp angle shot, the rebound, a pile up in front, and that stayed out.
Well, it's underneath Backstrom, thank goodness, because if it was underneath...
No item is YouTube video player here.
Sharp angle shot, the rebound, a pile up in front, and that stayed out.
Oh, it's underneath Backstrom, thank goodness, because if it was underneath...
5-2 Edmonton with 6 minutes left in the third. Here in game 5.
Underneath Heatley, there could have been a penalty shot, but a good job by the Wild. Dangerously bounces around. Well, he had no choice about where it was going to go with the type of shot that it was. That's why when you're on the wing like that, you shoot for the middle. When you're on the wing like that, you shoot for the middle of the net. You quite often will create that sort of a rebound.
Spurgeon. Scandella watched by Horcock. Nice play by Corbin. Redirected that puck from his own blue line right to the tape of Danny Heatley's stick, who gets it deep into the Oilers zone. Hemsky up the right wing side. He's caught from behind. Gets it back. Flips it up into the air along the right wing boards. And now Hemsky has it again. Heatley watching him now. Hemsky will move along the blue line. Turns, looks, fires. Stick saved by Backstrom. Hemsky, another guy that's had a pretty good game. Early this season, back in October at Minnesota, he got injured, shoulder injury that kept him out of the lineup for a while. It's been very good for this team to get someone back with a little. Here. No. Game.
Well, this very well.
Bob Gill driving in. In front is controlled by the. Hemsky will move along the blue line. Turns, looks, fires, stick saved by Backstrom. Hemsky, another guy that's had a pretty good game. Early this season, back in October at Minnesota, he got injured, shoulder injury that kept him out of the lineup for a while. Very good for this team to get someone back with a little experience. Gloved and hung out to by Nick Backstrom. We'll step away for a moment, still tied.
2-2 hockey game down the stretch run here at Rexall Place. We're going to break it all down and a lot more on Wild Live, presented by CenturyLink, featuring the Toyota postgame wrap. We'll talk about the Wild rally. They went down 2-0, but goals by Setaguchi. And that man, Kyle Brodziak, have us tied at 2 players responding. Mike Yeo talked about that before the game. We'll talk more about that after the game. And we'll get Mike Yeo's postgame press conference. What do you think of his team performance when they were down 2-0 to come back? You'll find out, and a lot more, Dan and Mike, on Wild Live, presented by Century.
Earlier this season, we were in this building, and the Wild needed the goal with 2 seconds remaining to tie the game, and that was Danny Heatley. That was back on October 20th.
Come back.
Rebound, a pile up in front, and that stayed out.
Well, it's underneath Backstrom, thank goodness, because if it was underneath Heatley, there could have been a penalty shot.
To the bench. But your instinct, I guess, Lou, when the puck comes
getting around that net,
get a touch.
and not allowing that rebound. Watch his shot, but more importantly, the rebound.
Everly was
comes
coming
right
off to the bench, and this puck just happens to come
And
right back to
dangerously
him. He stops,
bounces
plays the
around.
puck, but you'll see the player jumping off the ice. That's 6 players on the ice.
Not really much choice there by Backstrom.
And the Oilers will be short-handed here on a little miscommunication.
Yeah, Petrie was trying to get on the ice, and he did.
Not really much choice there by Backstrom. Middle of the net.
In front, and that stayed out.
Well, it's underneath Backstrom, thank goodness, because if it was underneath Heatley, there
he was
could have been a
doing some
penalty shot.
captaining
But
as well as
a good
leading,
job
which
by
is
the Wild
something the most
getting
senior
around
member of the
that
Oilers
net.
likes to do,
And not
considering
allowing
his
that
tenure with the team,
rebound. Watch the
talking
shot,
with Taylor
more
Hall and
importantly,
Ryan
the rebound
Hopkins,
comes
then with
straight
some help
out.
from Ryan Smith, the linesman. There he is,
And
helping
dangerously
RNH with his
bounces
face-offs.
around.
And Louis, a nice sign by the captain to do what he can to help out the younger members of the
Bounce,
hockey.
importantly, the
No
rebound
question about
comes
it. It's
straight
the
out.
second time around for Sean Horkoff.
There by
He was a great
Backstrom.
mentor last year
And
to Hall.
dangerously
Louis, a nice
bounces
sign
around.
by the captain to do what he can to help out the younger members of the
And
hockey.
dangerously
No question
bounces
about it.
around.
It's the second time around for Sean Horkoff. He was a great mentor last year to
You
Hall.
gotta make the save and the rebound.
Spurgeon. Scandella, watched by Horkoff. Nice play. Sharp angle shot, the rebound, a pile up in front, and that stayed out.
Well, it's underneath because if it was underneath Heatley, there could have been a penalty shot. But a good job by the Wild. And not allowing that rebound. Watch his shot, but more importantly, the rebound comes right out.
Tries to resist the
And dangerously bounces around.
and catches the defenseman.
Not really much choice there by Backstrom. You got to make the save and the rebound. Well, he had no choice about where it was going to go with the type of shot that it was.
7 shots for the
That's why when you're on the wing like that, you shoot for the middle of the net. Right off, really much choice there by Backstrom. You got to make the save and the rebound. Well, he had no choice about where it was going to go with the type of shot that it was. That's why when you're on the wing like that, you shoot for the middle of the net. Quite often will create that. No choice about where it was Backstrom. You got to make the save and the rebound. Well, he had no choice about where it was going to go with the type of shot that it was. That's why when you're on the wing like that, you shoot for the middle of the net. You quite often will create that sort of a rebound.
Critical here during a penalty.
You're no choice there by Backstrom. You got to make the save and the rebound. Well, he had no choice about where it was going to go with the type of shot that it was. That's why when you're on the wing like that, you shoot for the middle of the net. You quite often will create that choice. And dangerously bounces around. Not really much choice there by Backstrom. You got to make the save and the rebound. Well, he had no choice about where it was going to go with the type of shot that it was. That's why when you're on the wing like that, you shoot for the middle of the net. You quite often will create that sort of a rebound. You got to make the save and the rebound. Well, he had no choice about where it was going to go with the type of shot that it was. That's why when you're on the wing like that, you shoot for the middle of the net. You quite often will create that. No choice about. Not really much choice there by Backstrom. You got to make the save and the rebound. Well, he had no choice about where it was going to go with the type of shot that it was. That's why when you're on the wing like that, you shoot for the middle of the net. You quite often will create that sort of a rebound.
The Edmonton Oilers, fighting majors.
Spurgeon.
Ryan Smith.
Scandella, watched by Horkoff. Nice play by Koivu. Redirected that puck from his own blue line right to the tape of Danny Heatley's stick, who gets it deep into the Oilers zone. Hemsky up the right wing side. He's caught from behind. Gets it back. Flips it up into the air along the right wing boards. And now Hemsky has it again. Heatley watching him now. Hemsky will move along the blue line. turns, looks, fires, stick save by Backstrom. Hemsky, another guy that's had a pretty good game. Early this season, back in October, at Minnesota, he got injured, shoulder injury that kept him out of the lineup for a while. Been very good for this team to get someone back with a little experience. Gloved and hung on to by Nick Backstrom. Will step away for a moment, still tied. For this team to
No idea.
earlier this season. This building, and the Wild needed the goal with 2 seconds remaining to tie the game, and that was Danny Heatley. That was back on October 20th.
By Bouchard. Look at that one hand. And then corrals Nick Johnson in the slot.
But it appears that with Kyle Clutterbuck out, Nick Johnson is picking up a lot of extra ice time.
Yeah, he's jumping in different places. They moved him around a lot. He's responding in various ways. And he's been very versatile for a while.
Icing is rolled off. Backstrom will play it away to the corner. Brodziak. Send it to center. Found McIntyre. They got it deep into the Edmonton zone. Now the Oilers look up ice. Tipped ahead there by Payarvi. Spurgeon didn't see it, was lying behind him on the ice. Belanger from a sharp angle. Steered aside. Now Jones will send it out to the point. A quick shot from the right point. Missed the mark. Gathering up the puck comes Colton Gillies. He's had a strong game. Gillies across the middle and tried a shot and almost collided. Maybe did collide there with Kyle Brodziak. As they were crisscrossing just inside the Edmonton blue line. Bouchard lost control as he made a spin move. Gets some help as Brodziak comes back to strip it away. Now it's picked up by Zanin, banks it off the boards and clears it ahead deep in the zone. Avi Bulin settling it down. Gagne at the wall. Lost it. Didn't get rid of it quick enough. Cullen picks it off. Now battling with Horkoff. It gets dropped back to Sam Gagne. Rotates it right. They cross into the Minnesota zone. A little drop pass on the right side. And a shot from the right circle is gloved and hung onto by Nicholas Backstrom. Zone. Drop back to Sam Gagne. Rotates it right. They cross into the Minnesota zone. A little gets dropped back to Sam Gagne. Rotates it right. They cross into the Minnesota zone. A little drop pass on the right side. And a shot from the right circle is gloved and hung onto by Nicholas Backstrom.
Oh, teams kind of trading chances here, but not glaring chances. Both teams locking it down fairly well. Nicholas Backstrom a strong game. Avi Bulin a strong game. That's why you have the 2-2 score right now. A lot of very good opportunities, but
a couple of games ago, it was the Oilers winning in St. Paul 5-2. Lundin lost to numbers there. Eberle to Ryan Smith. He sends it into the corner. Knocked back down low. Koivu will take it away. Takes a little chop at Ryan Smith. Sataguchi battling inside the blue line. Battle war. Nugent Hopkins to Ryan Smith. Smith around a wraparound. It comes out front. Sataguchi is the only man there. And Sataguchi will do a little chip and chase of his own. Cleared off the boards out through center. Ryan Smith to the Minnesota line. Runs into Marco Scandella. Rotates it around behind and up the right wing wall. Sataguchi just flips one out to center ice. It's gloved and controlled there by the Oilers. They will backhand one deep in the zone, then switch on the fly. 3:21 left to go here in the third period.
And game 5.
Brodziak, little rolling puck, couldn't get it to settle down long enough to take control. Petrie with a little touch pass and they'll work it out to center ice. Let in for the speedy Payarvi, he couldn't get the puck. Now Brodziak the other way. Gets taken out by a nice hip check. Whitney has it. He's hit on the play by McIntyre. A loose puck and out come the Oilers again. Left side with speed, Payarvi with a wrister on goal, and Backstrom makes the save, and you saw once again the speed of Magnus Payarvi.
Backstrom not giving up any secondary opportunities here, and that's what you need. Harvey's been very visible in this game, as you mentioned. Look at the shots on goal here.
Cullen wins the draw. Smith. Bouchard sends it ahead. Nick Johnson will chase. Looks like it's going to be Peckham and Johnson going to the back wall, and Peckham got there just a little bit sooner. Now ahead to Ryan Smith. Slows it down, but it's broken up there. Stolen away by Nick Johnson. Now to Bouchard. Bouchard with a soft shot. Looking for a rebound, and he got it, but the White Sweaters weren't able to gain control. Ryan Smith lost it in the corner. Stoner gets spun off the puck by Ryan Smith. 2:15 to go here in the third. And the Wild have had for finding ways to get goals late. They have a lot of confidence at this point in the hockey game. Here's Bouchard across. Off the stick with Cullen, and Cullen will just whack it down deep. Now picked up and controlled by Tom Gilbert. Wild finishing some changes on the fly, so Gilbert slowly to his own blue line. Advance a pass out to center. Here's Horkoff with a shot. That was a high shot, and it was off the body and goes to the corner. Now Gagne drops it off down low into the slot. Horkoff tried a one-timer. Lundin came up with an awful block, and it's cleared all the way down. Icing is waved off, so Hobby Bullen will play it. A minute and a half remaining here in the third period. Stolen away by Setaguchi. Short's got his stick stuck underneath the wall. Centered into the slot to Horkoff. Horkoff could not control it. Gordon does it. Nico makes a nice move at center, skating through some stick work. And lost the puck, and now Whitney has it. 1 minute remaining in the third period. Off of Jones into the Minnesota end. Scandella leaves it for Spurgeon. Jared Spurgeon ahead. The Oilers redirected into the Edmonton zone by McIntyre, playing in his second game for the Wasps.
How about that for confidence?
Wow. Harvey from the wall, blocker saved by Backstrom. Scandella and Belanger go after it. It's cleared ahead to Colton Gillies. Knocked back into the Minnesota zone. Oilers will change, and the Wild will take advantage and dump it all the way down into the Edmonton zone. 20 seconds to go. McIntyre tried to center. That was rejected. Back to the half wall, and now it's out to center, and here come the Oilers. With 10 seconds to go, a wrist shot in on Backstrom, and he'll drop. Oilers victorious here in Rogers Place. And the Wild win the series 3-2.
When I was really brief. When I was with 2 minutes and seconds.
Wow.
When I was with 2 minutes.
Push. More extra. Setaguchi for a while.
When I was 2 hours 0 minutes.
But they find a way to win again.
Oh, this is the third shootout win of the year for the Wild against the Oilers, and goes 5-hole there. Nice move. Doesn't take a lot of shootout opportunities, but he makes this one count in the extra attempts. But he doesn't take a lot of shootout opportunities, but he makes this one count in the extra attempts. What a nice move there by Brodziak. He's our 10th star of the game. He had a goal in the game, a good rebound that he scored in during the game, and then he gets the winning goal in the shootout for the Wild. Big 2 points here. The Wild finished November with 11 wins.
11 wins, Anthony, and once again, I know it's a stuck record, but this team once again finds a way to get a win, and they go home in first in the West.
sees the Oilers being outshot 5-4 but leading 1-0.